Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Saraswati Mashi, do you have to leave? Prema Devani?
Yes. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Parivrajikacharya Stor Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Parivrajikacharya Stor Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री मायापुर द्वीप धाम की जय। श्री गंगा मैया की जय। श्री जमुना मैया की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ब्रुद मृदंगा की जय। Jai ISKCON founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, Gora Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam reading with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Wednesday, December 17th, 2025. We are beginning with Srimad Bhagavatam 4:24:57, and His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Maharaj is not here, but is giving a class at 26 2nd Avenue, Matchless Gifts in New York City. It's called Prabhupada Meditations. It will be found online at the Bhakti Center's live stream and recording on YouTube for those interested. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Saraswati Mataji, would you like to take the first text if you're available?
Yes. Text 57. Kshanardha napi tulya na swargam na punar bhavam bhagavata sangi sangasya martayanam kim uttasi saha. Translation. If one by chance associates with a devotee, even for a fraction of a moment, he no longer is subject to attraction by the results of karma or jnana. What interest then can he have in the benedictions of the demigods, who are subject to the laws of birth and death? Purport. Out of the three kinds of men, the karmis, jnanis, and bhaktas, the bhakta is described herein as the most exalted. Srila Prabodhanandan Saraswati has sung Kevalyam Narakatya Tridaspur Akash Pushpayat Chaitanya Chandramrita. The word Kevalya means to merge into the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the word Tridaspur refers to the heavenly planets where the demigods live. Thus, for a devotee, Kevalya Sukha, or merging into the existence of the Lord, is hellish, because The bhakta considers it suicidal to lose his individuality and merge into the effulgence of Brahman. A bhakta always wants to retain his individuality in order to render service to the Lord. Indeed, he considers promotion to the upper planetary systems to be no better than a will-o'-the-wisp. Temporary material happiness holds no value for a devotee. The devotee is in such an exalted position that he is not interested in the actions of karma or jnana. The resultant actions of karma and jnana are so insignificant to a devotee situated on the transcendental platform that he is not in the least interested in them. Bhakti yoga is sufficient to give the bhaktas all happiness. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6, Yayatma suprasidati. One can be fully satisfied simply by devotional service, and that is the result of association with the devotee. Without being blessed by a pure devotee, no one can be fully satisfied, nor can anyone understand the transcendental position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Gyanan Timirindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. So once again, Srila Prabhupada is stressing the absolute need for association with devotees. In fact, in that conversation that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had with Ramananda Rai, he asked Ramananda Rai, what is the greatest pain that anyone can experience anywhere? And Ramananda Rai told him that to be deprived, to be bereft of the association of Vaishnavas is the greatest pain that anyone anywhere could feel. And well, the sadhu sangha sarva sastra kahe, lavas matra sadhu sangha sarva siddhi hoye. Lava matra, even one split second of association with a devotee. In fact, lava matra, lava means 1/11 of a second. Association can give one all perfection. And therefore, Srila Prabhupada, one of his missions was to create a society where like-minded devotees who are only happy in Krishna Katha and immersed in the service of Radha and Krishna could all gather and inspire each other, encourage each other, and help each other to become Krishna conscious and ultimately to become completely purified enough to go home back to Godhead. All the other transcendentalists, so to speak, the karmis, jnanis, and dhyanis, their practice has to have bhakti in order for them to even have some sort of success. But their success and their progress can never be achieved or compared to that which the bhaktas achieve through pure devotional service. Because it's only the bhakta who in fact has no material desires, he has no material motives other than to please Krishna. And that is actually our eternal position, that we are exclusively thinking of loving Krishna and offering pure devotional service to Krishna. Anya bilasita sunyam gnanam karmanadi anvaratam anukulyena Krishna silanam bhakti ruttam. That is the highest and purest form of bhakti, where the bhakta is only interested in pleasing Krishna. And we have had so many references in the past as well of how the karmis are only their main interest is to attain the upper planetary system where they can have a longer duration of life and senses that don't deteriorate, so they can more or less just continue enjoying material happiness. And also those residents of the lower planetary systems, which are below Earth, that's called subterranean heavenly planets. Bilaswarg, because their entire atmosphere and life and living situation, housing, the whole atmosphere is to merely increase your sensual enjoyment too. And because they don't have the passage of day and night, they're completely oblivious to the passing of time. They're just completely immersed in sense enjoyment with no regard to any form of spiritual advancement. And as Guru Maharaj was explaining yesterday, for the demigods, although they are termed as Sakam devotees, they are mixed devotees. Of course, they are associating or rather assisting the Lord in the affairs of the material cosmos, but they still have that element of personal material sense gratification. And so for them, it's also very difficult because they more or less have uninterrupted material enjoyment. So there isn't that urge that denzians of the earthly planets who actually do see suffering and do face suffering. So the demigods or the asuras living in the lower planetary system don't have that great need to try and exclusively follow a path of bhakti. And of course, Srila Prabhupada talks about those transcendentalists that want to merge into the Brahma Jyoti, and how a Vaishnava would never ever accept that, no matter what. It's just completely hellish. In fact, it says Kevalyam Narkayat. It's just for Haridas Thakur, Namacharya Haridas Thakur very nicely said that even if Krishna offers that, a Vaishnava or a devotee of Krishna would never accept that. So, and that sort of liberation, merging into the Brahma Jyoti, can be had even if one has attained the Namabhas stage, which is the intermediate stage before one reaches pure Nama, chanting of the Lord's holy name in a pure state of mind. So it's really, the devotees understand that sort of a liberation, you're just being cheated. They want to retain their individuality. In fact, every living entity has their own unique personality. It's not that more or less people have the same qualities and the same personality. Everyone is unique. And in that sense, they have a unique relationship with Krishna, and which means that Krishna also treats them on an individual basis. Sometimes it's misunderstood by people. Sometimes when I talk to people and they seem to think that there's just this run-of-the-mill one formula to fit all sort of relationship that Krishna has with his devotees. That is not the case. He has unique relationships with each and every person, and they bring to him a unique form of happiness too, that relationship can give. So individuality is very, very important when we talk about these different services from devotees, pure devotees of Krishna, and the specific joy that they can give to Krishna. It's not the run of the mill. It's very unique and very different. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. For our next text, Naveen Prabhu, would you like to take text 58? And also, I just heard from Guru Maharaj that His Holiness Jayādvaita Maharaj may join a little later in the call. So we'll see.
Text 58. Atan nagangris tava kirti tirtayor antarbihi snana viduta papmanam butesh vanush kosha susatva shilanam syat sangamo nugraha esha nastava. Translation. My dear Lord, your lotus feet are the cause of all auspicious things, and the destroyer of all the contamination of sin. I therefore beg your lordship to bless me by the association of your devotees, who are completely purified by worshipping your lotus feet, and who are so merciful upon the conditioned souls. I think that your real benediction will be to allow me to associate with such devotees. Purport. The Ganges water is celebrated as being able to eradicate all kinds of sinful reactions. In other words, when a person takes his bath in the Ganges, he becomes freed from all life's contaminations. The Ganges water is celebrated in this way because it emanates from the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, those who are directly in touch with the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who are absorbed in the chanting of his glories are freed from all material contamination. Such unalloyed devotees are able to show mercy in the common conditioned soul. Show mercy to the common conditioned soul. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has sung that the devotees of Lord Chaitanya are so powerful that each one of them can deliver a universe. In other words, it is the business of devotees to preach the glories of the Lord and deliver all conditioned souls to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. Here, the word Susattva means Shuddha Sattva, the transcendental stage beyond material goodness. By his exemplary prayers, Lord Shiva teaches us that our best course is to take shelter of Lord Vishnu and his Vaishnav devotees. I don't have comments at the moment, but if others might comments.
Yes. Would anybody like to comment? Saraswati Machi?
Well, Lord Shiva had said, Aradhananam Sarvesham Vishnu, Aradhanam Param, which means the only real form of worship is to worship Lord Vishnu. And I think in another class I might have related something I had read about the glories of Vrindavan, and specifically as how it relates to Lord Shiva. I had mentioned how Lord Shiva had undergone great austerity, and when Krishna asked him what it was that he wanted, he said he wants to become Nandeshwara Hill, upon which the capital of Maharaj Nanda's palace stood. And when Lord Krishna asked him why did you want to become a hill? And he said, the reason why is because I know then that the footsteps of the Vasis would always be on some part of that hill, and specifically the lotus feet of the gopis. And he said, I want that, that I'd have the body of this mountain upon which these Vrajvasis footprints would always be there. And in another pastime, when Lord Krishna was born, and how I had mentioned how when Lord Shiva went to take darshana, Mother Yashoda, seeing his appearance, thought that maybe Krishna might be a little afraid of meeting this Brahmana as he presented himself, and turned him away. And when Krishna started crying, Mother Yashoda understood that actually her turning away this person who had come specifically to meet the child was an infraction of the behavior, and so she brought him back. And it was only then that Krishna stopped crying, and Mother Yashoda felt that she had somehow offended this person who had traveled, or although his appearance may have looked a little disheveled, it didn't matter. The child wanted to meet him, and then so she asked him for forgiveness, and if there's anything that she could do to make up for a seemingly offense. And then so Lord Shiva said, the remnants, this child, whatever this child eats, whatever the remnants that may remain, could you arrange it so that I could have the remnants as the child grows? And so it's even to this day in Vrindavan, there's a temple and there's a Lord Shiva's little temple where the remnants of the boga offered to, I forget the names of the deities right now, but it's offered to Lord Shiva even to this date. I thought that was such a lovely pastime. Hare Krishna.
Praveen Prabhu writes, Nahi mayani tirtani na deva mrich chila mayaha te punanti ru kalena darshanad eva sadavaha. No one can deny that there are holy places with sacred rivers, or that the demigods appear in deity forms made of earth and stone. But these purify the soul only after a long time, whereas saintly persons purify just by being seen. Okay, for our next text, I can read. Okay, we just read 58, so we are on 59. Na yasya chitam bahir arta vibramam tamo guhayam cha visudam avisat yad bhakti yoga nurritam ajnasa munir vichaste nanu tatrate gatim. Translation: the devotee whose heart has been completely cleansed by the process of devotional service and who is favored by Bhakti Devi does not become bewildered by the external energy, which is just like a dark well. Being completely cleansed of all material contamination in this way, a devotee is able to understand very happily your name, fame, form, activities, etc. Purport. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25, Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kata taj rasanad as apavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhatir anukra misyati. Simply by the association of pure devotees, one can understand the transcendental name, fame, quality, and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has repeatedly said, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Hoy, Lava Matra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 22:54. Simply by associating with a pure devotee, one becomes wonderfully advanced in Krishna consciousness. Sadhu Sangha, or association with a devotee, means always engaging in Krishna consciousness by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and by acting for Krishna. Specifically, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra purifies one, and this chanting is therefore recommended by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. By chanting the names of Krishna, the mirror of the heart is cleansed, and the devotee loses interest in everything external. When one is influenced by the external energy of the Lord, his heart is impure. When one's heart is not pure, he cannot see how things are related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Idam hi visvam bhagavan ivetaraha. Bhagavatam 1:5-20. He whose heart is purified can see that the whole cosmic manifestation is but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he whose heart is contaminated sees things differently. Therefore, by satsanga, or association with devotees, one becomes perfectly pure in heart. One who is pure in heart is never attracted by the external energy, which urges the individual soul to try to dominate material nature. The pure heart of a devotee is never disturbed when he executes devotional service in the form of hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. In all, there are 9 processes one can follow in the execution of devotional service. In any case, a pure-hearted devotee is never disturbed. The Bhakti Yoga process must be carried out by avoiding the 10 offenses one can commit while chanting the Maha Mantra and the 64 offenses one can commit while worshipping the deity. When a devotee strictly follows the rules and regulations, Bhakti Devi becomes very much satisfied with him, and at that time he is never disturbed by anything external. A devotee is also called a Muni. The word Muni means thoughtful. A devotee is as thoughtful as a non-devotee is speculative. The non-devotee's speculation is impure, but a devotee's thoughts are pure. Lord Kapila and Shukadeva Goswami are also called Muni, and Vyasadeva is addressed as Mahamuni. A devotee is addressed as Muni or thoughtful when he purely understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conclusion is that when one's heart is purified by the association of devotees and by the avoidance of the offenses committed when chanting and worshipping the Lord, the transcendental name, form, and activities of the Lord are revealed by the Lord. I don't have comments here. Would someone like to comment? Saraswati Mataji?
Yes, I was actually, while you were reading this, I was reminded of something that my father had said earlier about somebody who was, well, trying to really knock him down after knowing that my father is trying very seriously to try and chant most of the day. And he was saying to my father, you know what, whatever you're chanting, you know that's not pure. And my father agreed readily and said, yes, I'm very ashamed to say you're absolutely correct. But here's the thing, even though you might think that, you know, because my chanting hasn't become so purified, it's a waste of time. I can tell you this much, my father said to him, that while I'm chanting, at least my tongue isn't engaged in prajalpa. Prajalpa meaning useless talks that have nothing to do with Krishna. So yes, that's true. While he's chanting, his tongue is not engaged in something that's, completely useless and disconnected from Krishna. And of course, we have to, it's mentioned how the more we continue chanting and the more serious we become, it purifies our heart, and we can progress to the next level of namapas. First, we're chanting with namaprad, the 10 offenses to chanting the holy name. But if we continue with sincerity, then we can reach the next level, which is the namapas, which is a sort of a reflection of the pure holy name. And if we continue, and then we reach to the nama prema, which of course is the goal for all Vaishnavas. And so the process has been given to us by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Yuga Dharma for Kali Yuga is Nama Sankirtan, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, specifically Krishna himself, who is an avatari, fountainhead of all incarnations, who only descends once in the day of Brahma, inaugurated the Sankirtan movement to try and make it as simple as possible while at the same time reaping the greatest benefit. This is something that hasn't been offered in the other yugas. So chanting the holy name, we know that there are no hard and fast rules for chanting the Lord's holy name, and it it just is really simple, because we're not asked to perform such severe austerities that no one really can in this day and age do, or go off into the Himalayas and meditate for, we don't even have that sort of thousands of years duration of life. So it is simple in the sense, but it does require sincerity. And the more we are engaged in our serving of the holy name, then the hold that the external energy that the Lord has on us, and from time immemorial we have been influenced by the external energy of the Lord, her grip on us will become loose until we reach a stage where we are no longer even attracted by anything that Maya has to offer. And we are then once again transcending the three material modes of nature onto, as the previous verse said, Shuddha Sattva platform. And so all pure devotees are situated on Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudev Sabditam. This is the transcendental platform beyond anything that the external energy works, any of her influences can reach. And I was also thinking of the great mercy of devotees that are needed for anyone to make progress. Sometimes, somebody may be under the illusion that we can simply read these texts and progress nicely on our own. And that is completely a wrong way of approaching bhakti yoga, because simply by reading or memorizing texts, as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, it's useless unless you actually understand the essence of these messages. And you can only really understand that from the mouth and the lips of someone who himself has realized the eternal truth. You can't do it on your own. You have to serve the person, the great devotee who himself is serving the parampara, and all the acharyas that are in the parampara. Only by satisfying them can you satisfy Krishna, and only through that can the seed of bhakti fructify. In fact, it said, Mad Bhakta Pujabhyadika. Krishna himself says this: engaging in the service of my devotee is in fact much better than trying to directly engage in my service. And it's through the actions, and it's actually by observing, by following, by being guided by pure devotees that we can reach a level that they have hopes for us. Every acharya has a hope that their disciple can be greater than them, because there is no envy on the purified spiritual level. They want that their disciples can achieve much more than what they ever achieved. And when they see that a disciple is really serving them with sincerity and not duplicitously, not through some personal motivation, then their blessings are in fact so powerful that even though one may not have the capability or the competence to actually be able to reach the higher levels of devotion, by pleasing them and receiving their mercy, they can reach levels that they themselves on their own could never even dream of achieving. So I'm also thinking, because we were studying on a different Sangha, Bhagavad Gita, where we came across the verse, and it's let me see if I can pull that up. Yes, Bhagavad Gita 18.68, where the Lord says, Ya idam paramam guyam mad bhaktis abhidya syati bhaktim mai parama kritva mam eva syati asamsaya. One who preaches the bhakti cult to others, for him pure devotional service is guaranteed, and he will come back to me. And the next verse, Krishna says that Nacha tasman manusyasu kaschinma priya kritamaha bhavita nacha me tasmad anya priya taro bhuvi. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear than the one who preaches the bhakti cult. So just from those two verses alone, we can understand how pleasing it is to our own spiritual master who is serving Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada is serving his Guru Maharaj, and all the Acharya, the greatest Acharyas that we know of that came in this parampara, it's not that Krishna Prema can be just given to you by directly worshipping Radha and Krishna. And that love, that Krishna Prema actually can only be given to you through the parampara, and in effect through your own Guru Maharaj who has served his Guru Maharaj. So you have to worship those you have to understand that Krishna Prema is a property that it's not that you can get it straight from Radha and Krishna. It's coming down through the parampara. Hare Krishna.
Would someone like to volunteer for the next text? Have Talia and Rinda Mashi. I don't know if you're available. You're welcome to read.
I'm not available, sorry.
Okay. Saraswati Mashi, can we circle back to you?
And it's text 61 now?
Oh, okay. I just read 59.
Oh, 60, sorry.
So 60.
Text 60. Yatredam vyajyati vishvam vivashmin avabhati yat tatvam brahma param jyotir akasamiva vishtratam. Translation. My dear Lord, the impersonal Brahman spreads everywhere, like the sunshine or the sky, and that impersonal Brahman, which spreads throughout the universe and which the entire universe is manifested, is you. Purport. In Vedic literature, it is said that everything is Brahman and nothing else. The whole cosmic manifestation rests on the Brahman effulgence. The impersonalists, however, cannot understand how such a huge cosmic manifestation can rest on a person. Thus, this inconceivable power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not understood by the impersonalists. Therefore, they are puzzled and always denying that the absolute truth is a person. This wrong impression is cleared by Lord Shiva himself, who says that the impersonal Brahman, which is spread all over the universe, is nothing but the Supreme Lord himself. Here it is clearly said that the Lord is spread everywhere, just like the sunshine by virtue of his Brahman feature. This example is very easy to understand. All the planetary systems are resting upon the sunshine, yet the sunshine and the source of sunshine are aloof from the planetary manifestations. Similarly, the sky or air is spread everywhere. Air is within a pot, but it also touches filthy places and sanctified places alike. In any case, the sky is uncontaminated. The sunshine also touches filthy places and sanctified places, and both are actually produced by the sun. But in any case, the sun is aloof from all filthy things. Similarly, the Lord exists everywhere. There are pious things and impious things, but in the Shastras, the pious things are described as the front of the Supreme Lord, whereas impious things are described as the back of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, the Lord clearly says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagata vyakta murtina matstani savabhutani na chaham teshava vistitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. This verse of Bhagavad Gita explains that the Lord is spread everywhere by virtue of his Brahman feature. Everything rests in him, yet he is not there. The conclusion is that without bhakti yoga, without rendering devotional service to the Lord, even an impersonalist cannot understand the Brahma Tattva, the Brahman feature. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is stated, Atato Brahman Jignasha. This means that Brahman, Paramatma or Parabrahma should be understood. In Srimad Bhagavatam also, the absolute truth is described as the one without a second, but he is realized in three features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate issue, and in this verse, Lord Shiva confirms that ultimately the absolute truth is a person. He clearly says, Tattvam Brahma Param Jyotir Akasham Iva Vistratam. Here is a common example. A successful businessman may have many factories and offices, and everything rests on his order. If someone says that the entire business rests on such and such a person, it does not mean that the person is bearing all the factories and offices on his head. Rather, it is understood that by his brain or his energetic expansion, the business is running without interruption. Similarly, it is the brain and the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that carry on the complete manifestation of the material and spiritual worlds. The philosophy of monism, explained here very clearly, adjusts itself to the fact that the supreme source of all energy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. This is described very clearly. It is also stated how the impersonal feature of Krishna can be understood. Rasoham apshu konteya prabhasmi sasi shuryayo pranavaha sarva vedeshu sabdake purusham nrushu. O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in ether and ability in men. In this way, Krishna can be understood as the mystic power in everything. I see Guru Maharaj. Pranams Param Pujya Guru Maharaj. Maharaji, would you be able to comment on this rather long purport, please?
Hare Krishna. Well, first you have to tell me where we are.
Yes, we're at Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text 60, 60.
Here, so get up to there. Yajate Vishram Vishvasmin Bhati Yat Tattvam Brahma Param Jyotir Akasham Iva Vistritam. The Krishna's, what is that? Andantarasta Paramana Jayantarasta. He's within everything and he's outside of everything. It's resting in Krishna, and yet Krishna is within everything. So the comparison is given to the sunshine. It spreads everywhere. Krishna is similarly situated everywhere. Sarva Kalavidam Brahma. Nothing exists except the absolute truth, Brahma. The nothing exists except the absolute truth, Brahma, which means nothing exists other than Krishna. And that means Krishna and his energies, because Krishna is not ultimately an undifferentiated, mono, monotonous, homogenized, pasteurized truth, but he's full of varieties. Vividaiva Shriyate, Prasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shriyate. His energies are variegated. But Krishna is not affected by the apparent contamination of material energy, because he's the controller of the material energy. It's the living entities who are affected because they forget their relationship with Krishna. They forget that Krishna is everything, is manifest everywhere. And therefore the devotees try to revive that Krishna consciousness in all the living beings. And Vishwanath comments, I don't know if you mentioned it, some sages see your form as Brahma. It is you, since it's your effulgence spreading glory everywhere. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanta Koti Koti Shvashesha Vashudhari Vibhuti. The Brahman effulgence is non-different from Krishna. Okay.
Saraswati Mashi, would you like to continue?
Oh, yes. And before I do, I just wanted to mention something. Usually, I'm not very good with preaching at all, actually, especially if there's an aggressive opponent. I seem to, somehow or another, I sort of get paralyzed and I'm trying to respond in an appropriate way. And but this one time I had a Muslim student, I was tutoring him, and his college, and he was well, he was quite fierce about defending his religion, and he was saying how this well, deity worship, which he referenced as idol worship, and how that's so sinful and how wrong it is, and because God Akbar, Allah Akbar, they say God is the greatest, but He's impersonal, and how dare you try to limit Him by forming an idol. So then I said to him, oh, I really want to hear more about what it is that you have realized from your religion, and what is the final goal, the ultimate goal, that you've learnt from your scriptures. So he was saying, oh, well, the ultimate goal is we follow all the rules as set out in the Quran, and then we get a reward at the end of this life. We get to go to a heaven, and all our loved ones, we once again are reunited with them, which sounds very similar to Christianity, and we get to live forever with them in these beautiful loving relationships. So I said to him, I asked him, I said, oh, well, is Allah, is he greater than you? And he sort of looked at me and said, of course, Allah, oh Akbar, he's the greatest. So I said, how is it that you can have the greatest reward of becoming reunited with your loved ones, having your own individuality, engaging in these loving relationships, but he cannot have loving relationships with others. He has to remain this impersonal, frigid entity. So I mean, just from that alone, it's how silly it is when people think that way, that God is impersonal. Anyway, I thought I'd share that. But we're at 450. The next verse looks like quite a long verse. I'm not sure if we're going to have time. Guru Maharaj, 51.
I was hearing someone or reading someone remarked at being, what's the word, disenchanted or unsatisfied really with that view of being reunited with our loved ones in the hereafter. I think the context was a Christian hereafter, but they were trying to figure out, well, okay, if we're all reunited, is grandma, or is she the little girl of her mother, or how does this all work out there? Are we going to be there in decrepitude, some of us, or how does this all work? It left some quite a bit of loose ends unexplained. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, would you like to read text 61 if you think we have time?
Look at 16. We don't have time really. We're at 7:52 and there's 8 minutes, but we can at least read the verse and see where get a hold on it till so we'll have something to start off with on Monday. Yo maya yedam puru rupaya srijad Viparti bhuya shapayatcha vikriya yad veda bhuti sadivatma dushtaya swamatma tantram bhagavan patimahi. My dear Lord, you have manifold energies, and these energies are manifested in manifold forms. With such energies, you have also created this cosmic manifestation. And although you maintain it as if it were permanent, you ultimately annihilate it. Although you are never disturbed by such changes and alterations, the living entities are disturbed by them. And therefore, they have station to be different or separate from you. My Lord, you are always independent, and I can clearly see this fact.
Guru Maharaj, do you want to comment?
Well, yeah, we're seeing the fundamental difference between the Lord and the living entities. The Lord is never affected. Uh, what is that in the Bhagavad Gita?
Guru Maharaj, you're muted.
Oh, sorry.
You stopped at what's that in the Bhagavad Gita? That's where we left off.
Yeah, in the Bhagavad Gita, Tata Sarvani Bhutani Vatstani Chupatarya Vayu Sarvatra Gomahan. On a windy day, the wind can really be swirling things around. You can get to tornadoes even. But the sky remains so much larger than that. We have these little local disturbances, whether they're typhoons or hurricanes or just breezy days. But the overall sky remains always the same. It's always there. It's not going anywhere. It's not going to get blown down or knocked over. It's beyond the far beyond the local conditions. So the living entity, so the personality of Godhead is like that. Everything is within him, and yet he remains transcendental to all the temporary comings and goings of this or that material situation. But the living entities, because they're trying to exploit the resources of the material energy, get overwhelmed by the interactions of material nature, by the interactions of the material nature. So they're in difficulty. And therefore, the living entities are always different from the Lord. The Lord is aloof, unaffected, and the living entities are totally disturbed, samudvigna, by material nature. I think that's as far as we should go. It's time for kirtan. And I'm also going to be reaching my destination also here. So, yeah, so let's do kirtan.
Saraswati Mashi, would you be able to lead kirtan?
No, but I'd like to nominate Naveen Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajaka Stottra Shri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Jayādvaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavan Tham Ki Jai, Navadip Tham Ki Jai, Jagannath Puri Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Jamana Mai Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.
His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami Ki Jai. Guru Maharaj, you're muted.
Again. Thank you to all the devotees. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.